In progress.
Okay. I was accused of being a pedophile while taking my daughter on holiday by this morning. And of course, this YouTube channel this morning turns the comments off. And the reason they do that is they want the views, but they don't want anyone, any man coming into the comments and defending themselves and calling out how disgusting these people are. Now, we'll get into this.
Daughter Millie, so as we said, she's 13 years old, and
Yeah.
between two of you, you've suffered an awful lot of loss in your life. Your wife and her mother died when she was only 4 years old. You also lost her elder sibling when.
I'm just starting here to show you that they're trying to build up sympathy for this man. Why do I care what he's lost? If this guy was having a great time, that doesn't mean he deserves to be called a pedophile, accused of a crime he has not committed. So right off the bat, this is pathetic. There he is with his daughter. She's a cutie. So the two of them are going on holiday, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with a grown man and a young girl going on holiday together. But they're making it so because this policy, this hotel policy that they're going to talk about is only applied to men, not women.
The hotel. You were told at the time there was only a double bed.
I booked it online. Yeah, I booked it online.
Paid for it online.
There was only a double bed available. So I said to my daughter, "There's only a double bed available. Do you want to go?" "Yeah, please, please. Can we still go, Dad?"
And so that's the problem. There's a double bed. So someone probably says, "Oh, these two aren't allowed to stay in the same bed because him just being a man, just his proximity will dirty up the young girl," right?
Of course.
So I booked that. At no point did it say that you needed to bring any identification or anything like that.
Of course it doesn't, because this had nothing to do. If this young woman here, where is she? This young woman shows up with a child, she will not get harassed like this. This policy is just there to harass men. Do you understand?
All very helpful.
Yeah,
They
we
told
got
you
there,
a parking space down the road that you didn't have to pay for. All very nice. But then something changed. What happened?
Well, I'd initially parked in the wrong place, to be honest with you, so I had to move my car. So I said, "I'll just move my car, I'll be 2 minutes." So I left my daughter in the actual reception with the bags. I said, "I'll be 2 minutes." Now, if there were anything untoward, I mean, she were happy, she were looking forward to the weekend, she'd look distressed, or if she shouldn't have been there, she'd have said help. But obviously, I moved my car, came back in. I would have to say the guy who initially were checking us in were lovely. He'd only been there a couple of days, and they were just about to give us the key, then the manager came up behind and said, "Have you got any identification?"
Now, see, it's a scumbag manager. Notice he said everyone else was normal. You know why? Because they looked at it and saw exactly what it was. A man and a young girl on vacation. By the way, he doesn't have to be related to her. He could be a friend of the family's and taking her on vacation. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
So I'm like, "Oh, right." So I got my wallet out, showed him a credit card, and he said, "Oh, I need some ID."
For your daughter?
Yeah, who's this? I said, "It's my daughter." I said, "I told you when I booked it." So I showed him, I've not got my phone on me, but I showed him my phone case, which had about 5 or 6 photos on my phone.
This guy didn't show up with a wife. That's his issue. When he booked it, these guys were assuming there's going to be a woman there to validate this man, and the child belongs to the woman. And this guy is just the woman's little serving boy. But for him to show up with the child by himself, that is to say this man is a first-class citizen and he's free to do whatever he wants. And that's what this asshole was against, this manager.
Phone case of a picture, and even the other guy, the guy had done been there a couple of days, actually turned around to him and said, he can tell it's his daughter. She's double of him, and
Right.
it took.
Yeah, so he's telling him, but the manager wants to get this guy. The manager is a scumbag. I don't know if the manager is male or female, but it doesn't matter. There's a scumbag. And this policy is set up to attack men, innocent men.
No, so I then had to, I said, look, I said, I ain't got anything. I said, the only thing I can do is to log onto Facebook and I can show you the page when she was 13, a picture of when
I'd be telling this guy to screw off. And I said, I want my money back and we're leaving. That's what I'd be doing. If the manager was lucky.
she was a baby and then turning 13, I put something on like, happy birthday. It's been
Yeah.
a struggle, but
Okay, so he's begging. He's begging the manager to treat him like a human being. I wouldn't be begging this guy anything. I'd be suing this hotel. Oh, by the way, this is how sneaky this scumbag is.
He passed me the key, went upstairs, and it was then I was kind of getting kind of bubbling away, and I'm not happy how, because he told me it was company policy. So I went downstairs and asked him, can I see this company policy? Can I see it? Because how you made me feel then, there were people at the back of me. I'm trying to scroll down my Facebook page. How he made me feel were awful.
And then it went a whole lot further. This escalated because at that point he told you that he'd contacted the police, who then very promptly arrived. And
yeah, well, this guy found out, he knew that this guy was innocent, and so he called the police. He always wanted to call the police. He always wanted to call this police on this guy. And I think what tipped him, if it's this guy was coming down to defend himself. And so he was scared. You know why he was scared? Because he's thinking, I know I did this man dirty, and now he might come down and clock me in the face. So he contacted the police. And like I say, I show this pretty young woman because she could show up with any child she likes at any time, and she will never be accused of this. That policy is built-in biased. It's an attack on men. It has nothing to do with protecting children.
that he'd contacted the police, who then very promptly arrived. And understandably, if the police get a phone call like that, they have to do their job. They have to see it through, and you understand that.
I understand that, yeah.
But they
No, I don't understand that. This is where I lose sympathy for this guy. I'm backing him on principle, but I have no sympathy for guys who say, I understand this bigotry. Can you imagine a black man saying, yeah, I can understand why white people lynch us? No, I'd be saying, I don't understand. Especially when 50% of the population, the female half, can turn around and do whatever they want with children.
question Millie.
The question within seconds she realised I was genuine. To be fair to her, but she had to interview obviously the manager. She interviewed me, and then she says, "I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to just go upstairs and speak to your daughter." She had to ask me, is it your dad? Have you got any photos? And she initially thought it was me that had rung the police, and the police lady said, "No, your dad hadn't rung the police. It was actually the hotel manager," and she was distraught.
Their weekend was ruined. No. This is going beyond the weekend was ruined. This guy had his life threatened. When you accuse a man of pedophilia, you're signaling people to kill him. Trust me. This, to me, is attempted murder. This is what this should be classified as, attempted murder. If I was him, I would go after any legal recourse I could against this hotel and that manager in particular, and I'd be getting my lawyer to say, this is attempted murder, because that's what he was trying to do to him. Women who get accused of pedophile, they almost never do. But the few that do are, because they don't get accused otherwise. And when they do, people don't care because they don't care about the children. The pedo smear is used on men to get them murdered.
She was crying her eyes like she wouldn't come out of the room. We were supposed to go out for the bite to eat. It totally spoiled that night. It spoiled the weekend, to be honest with you. It really did.
It does seem terribly heavy-handed, but you can sort of understand the policy of that. If a guy...
No. Terribly heavy-handed. Trying to lynch you was kind of terribly heavy-handed, but you can't understand you being a low-life male don't deserve to have relationships with children. And this is what they're trying to say. Men are no longer allowed to have relationships with children. The children are owned people by their mothers, and only the women can hang around them and be with them. And the men are no longer allowed that. This is something that hasn't always been. People used to respect men to at least some degree. Man, this is farcical, but also disgusting. It's horrendous. This guy had no idea, or he doesn't seem to have any idea, just how in danger his life was. At the very least, he was talking about never having employment again, of having people constantly attack him verbally and maybe even physically. That's what happens to men who get that pedal smeared. And that manager meant this man harm because, of course, the other guys understood exactly what was going on. They see families come and go, and they understand that there are single fathers. But again, I go further. You don't need to be related. There's nothing wrong with a man taking a child on holiday any more than a woman. A grown woman could be a friend of the family and take a child on holiday. And so a man should be able to do the same.
And I've been reflecting on it a lot this week, and I think what should happen at the point of booking, when you go online and book it, it should flag up if you're underage that you need identification, that you should bring.
Okay, sorry, this guy knows his place. That's why he disgusts me. He's begging them. Well, you should have let me know. I wouldn't have said that. I would have said, who are you calling me a pedophile, you piece of garbage? My God. This is one of the worst smears. It is the worst smear you can possibly call. If someone called you a murderer, you would not get the same fallout as pedophile. And this guy is, I think he accepts their apology.
On current national guidelines from the NSPCC, the police and other agencies, and in the past, hotel team actions had led to successful intervention to protect young people. We deeply regret.
This is bullshit. They haven't, or they aren't protecting young people. Like I said, this woman can show up with a child at any time, and they'll just bypass it. She could be a pedophile feeling up young children. No, this is a policy to attack men. That's all it is.
Any distress or inconvenience caused to Mr. Darwell. We are undertaking a full investigation into the circumstances, and we would like to apologise to Mr. Darwell for the situation he's encountered. That's the first apology you've had, isn't it?
I got an apology from head of UK operations yesterday. Actually, she rang me when I was on the train down here, so I did get a personal apology from, and I've said, oh yeah, I'd like it publicly.
Well, that's pathetic. Because how's that going to help the next guy that this disgusting manager decides this is a subhuman and he doesn't deserve to be around children? Men are dust yourself off people, and they're pathetic. There would be hell to pay if someone ever tried this with me. And this is the mindset men need now. And this is why, again, I say it over again, there needs to be an effective MRM with men fighting for this guy and fighting for themselves. And like I say, this morning puts this up and turns the comments off. That shows you just how much of laydowns they are too. Screw these people.